So there are two different types of kente when you come to Ghana. We have the Northern kente and the Southern kente. This is one of the Northern kentes. It's normally used for sewing smocks, etc. And the Ashanti kentes are the not like the Southern ones, the typical ones you normally see online and stuff like that. So in this tutorials, I'll be showing you how to be this elegant pattern. Okay, and if you are an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming around. If you're a new subscriber, hey, hold on, learn these tutorials and yep, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, girls. Hey, so in this section, this was what I was doing. I was cutting my Bicones and my crystals together so that I could have this, mixture of the Bicones and crystals. I use the rainbow colors. I use red colors and also green colors. Okay, so here I was just taking the strings out of the crystals. Like when you buy them, it comes in like rolls. So this is what I was trying to remove all the metallic wires from it so that I could use it peacefully without having any problem. So this is what you see me doing here in this section. And yes, I actually took all of them, put them in my bead and spin. These bead and spin are still available. Kindly send me a message on WhatsApp or call my number. Number will be in the description. So yes, you pass your needle and your thread through your kente. Okay, this kente came with its own pattern. So it was a pattern that I followed to make sure I achieve it. This is what I do. I pass it through. I always try not to cut it. Okay, it's always cool when you don't have to cut it. Okay, so after I'm done with that section, I actually moved to the other lane. Okay, I picked up my seed beads. I picked up my crystals and then I passed it through. I always position them on the kente to make sure it is firmly. I know the inches I'll be using based on the crystals I'm using. I don't have a specific measurement I use. It depends on the crystals I'm using, the sizes and stuff. So it's always best you fill your thread with them. You place it on your kente to make sure that this is the best place I can position it before you pass it through your kente, as you can see me doing. Yes, that is always the best thing you can do. Okay, you get your crystals, you pass through your kente. Make sure you place the crystals on the kente to know for sure this is where it would help for me to actually go in for the another. Okay, so you just make sure you position it well, yes, and then that is where you pass it through your kente and then you move on to the other section. Okay, it's always best for you to do that. It just saves a whole lot of time because you just don't remove them, place them on and stuff like that. It just saves a whole lot of time when you work around it in that manner. So that is it here in this section. I was moving to another green. This is what I do. This is how I travel when I'm working on this. So I wanted to do the colors greens first before I do the reds and then the Bicones and stuff. That is what I do. I traveled based on the inches that are quite far. Okay, so here in this section I was applying the red at the back side. Kindly do give it a thumbs up if you're getting everything. If you have any comments, kindly do drop it in the comment section. Okay, I will be leaving another description. I will be leaving a lot of tutorials, a playlist in the subscription so that you can also watch that to get how to also be the Southern kente. Yes, so this is what I was doing here in this section. So that was the whole process that I repeated when I was dealing with this. But when it came to the back side, I actually minimized the number of Bicones or crystals I was using at the back so that it doesn't become too heavy for the person to not be able to feel comfortable in them. Because if it is that heavy, corset already that snatches almost all your energy out of you. Okay, so when it is quite heavy, it becomes quite a problem to actually move around. So that was the reason why that I was pacing it up when I get to this section. And this was a pattern I was following. I wasn't going straightly. I was using that zigzag kind of a deal. I wasn't going straightly as the first ones or the front section. When it got to the back, I was going zigzag when it came to the red section. Okay, Okay, so that was what I was doing. Hey, I do have online classes available. Kindly send me a message on WhatsApp so that we can schedule a day and then we will just deal with that. Okay, yes, I also do have in-person training available as well. So with that one too, you can actually send me a message if you're around my location. Then we do that. If the distance is quite high and you can't come to where I am, there is no problem with that. We can just schedule online classes and then you'll take it up from there. It is always best and great to invest in knowledge. It is always best and great to invest in knowledge. So kindly do hit me up if you want to have one-on-one sections. I will be greatly excited to take you through that. So that is how I travel from one end to one end. Okay, I just get to know where I want to be and then I will just travel from that section to the other section. So this is a typical way how I did a zigzag. I moved in the zigzag section so that it would fill the back of it, so that the dress doesn't become extremely heavy for the person to even carry herself around. So I had to limit the amount of beads I was using on this. And hey, I will be leaving the second tutorials, which will be the slits. I will be leaving the link in the description, so kindly check that one out as well. Yep. Kindly support this channel by watching the adverts that comes on these videos. It really do help the channel to get some kind of income, and the more I get income, the more I'll be able to buy more projects, and that I'll be able to buy more materials and do more projects so that we can all learn extremely exciting things together. So kindly do help the channel, so that I'll be able to get more things and teach more stars. Okay, kindly do support the channel by watching my adverts that are placed on these videos. I really do appreciate. I will really appreciate them if that happens. Kindly do not skip videos. Do not skip adverts when you see them on my videos, because it really helps the channel money. When it comes to the monetization aspect, it really does help the channel to really grow, so that I can teach a lot of tabs. So kindly do not skip the adverts. Kindly watch them to support the channel. So here I was moving to the other red. Okay, so I got to the green section because there was a bone that I couldn't control it that much, and I moved again to the other section. The other time, one person asked me the reason why I use fishing wire instead of the normal thread, and my answer to that question will be, when you use a fishing wire, is actually the best when you're working with kente, like fabric that are extremely harder. Is when you are working around like soft nets, body nets, that's when you can use a thread. Because when you use soft nets and the fishing wire will just manipulate the soft net to follow its pattern. But when you use the soft net and the normal thread, like, you can direct it on a pattern you would want it to be. And the other question that she followed up was, won't the fishing wire melt? And my answer to that question is no. There's no way the fishing wire is gonna get melt. At the end of the day, if we are done with the beading on it, I don't know why you would still want to iron it. Because if you're ironing, you're not ironing the fabric, you'll be ironing the beads, and that really doesn't happen. So why iron beads or sequins? Like, no, that doesn't happen anywhere. So it's always the best to actually use fishing wire. Okay, you can either use 0.4 or 0.35, which is quite, not too thick, not too thin. Like, that is it. Like, not too thin, not too thick. Like, that is the best. Okay, so if you have 0.52, that will be fine. But here I was using 0.35, which was also pretty cool. Yeah, so it's always best to use a fishing wire rather than your your thread really gets torn easily. I just worked on a thread with something. It was just a small amount, and like before I could realize the thread was coming out, it was just tearing up and down. Because of that, these sequins and crystals are really glass. So glass can just, you know how glass is. If there is any breakage anywhere, they can get the thread torn, like they can tear the thread. So there's no need for you to go through that stress, and then like there might be a cut somewhere in the glass and it will just get torn. Like it's just not the best. Okay, but if you are using it on the body net, I think that will be quite cool, so that you will be able to achieve what you want to achieve. But when it comes to a whole fabric like this or a whole kente like this, it is always best, I repeat, it is the best to use fishing wires. Okay, and hey, bead and spin are definitely available. Kindly hit me up and let me deliver yours to you. If you want to get any of these crystals, Bicones, and yep, you don't have some around you, kindly let me know. So this was the finished product. This was how the whole beaded bodice, front and back, was looking like. This is actually a corset, so you really can't see the front and back if you're not really into fashion. Okay, but this was how the whole thing was looking like at the end of the day. This was how the rainbow, the green and the Bicones, the red Bicones was given. Like this was the energy it was given at the end of the day. It just completely changed the outlook of it. So this is how it looks like. And hey, tutorials for the slick is in the link in the bio. Thank you so much for watching till the end. XOXO.